so much. I think I really, I hope it's not been too, hard questions in terms of, on standards.
Oh, no, my pleasure. And I think we are, I mean, we always been looking for experts to talk about it. So I think our next series of PhD KIM seminar, we will invite you as our guest speaker on the standard, because I've heard that you have been also recently been accredited as an auditor, and so I think our students will benefit also from your sharing and from your knowledge. So you will be most welcome to talk to them. So thank you, Santosh.
No, sure, Vincent. It will be my pleasure. In fact, one of the things what I'm trying to do is reach out and being open to any universities who wants to learn about ISO 30401 standards. Something which I can do from my capacity,
Sure.
which I'm willing and really look forward to doing that, and continue doing that. So thank you.
Thank you.
So now let me, to be very honest with you, I've already prepared a lot of questions. Okay, now I think we have about another 15 minutes. Let me try to, take.
Okay, I will try to make short answers. Sorry, that's me.
If you have to cover more things, then yes, yeah. So yeah, first of all, let's talk a bit about your, Institute of Knowledge Management and Innovation, institute, what you have, co-founded.
Yes.
Founded, yeah, right? So please.
Yes. So I mean, when, like I said, originally the Institute for Knowledge and Innovation was based at George Washington University, and when I moved 14 years ago to Thailand, to Bangkok University, I decided, I mean, with the support of Bangkok University, to develop a similar institute here for the Southeast Asia region. And so we are more or less, if you want, a center of excellence in the field of knowledge management and innovation management. So we work closely with organizations to help them in terms of training or in terms of consulting. Our consulting is a bit different from traditional consulting, because what we like to do is to transfer our knowledge, so to train the trainer, if you want. So our goal is not to sell services after services like a traditional consulting company will do.
You teach them how to fish.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So we train people who can later on lead this KM program internally. So they know about the tools, the approach, the techniques. Sometimes we are invited to define strategies also, or to advise on strategies, or to do some specific assessment or things like this. So we do all kinds of activities. But so over the years, we saw also the need for people working in this field to get highest degrees. That's why 10 years ago, in fact, this year, so in 2011, I created this PhD program in knowledge and innovation management, again, to be able to provide to mainly practitioners. So I would say 95% of our PhD students are working professionals who do that on top of their daily jobs. So they are not full-time students, they are part-time students.
Okay.
And so over the 10 years, we have been quite successful at doing so. And yes, and we get students from Thailand, but we get also students from all over the world who are joining our program. And I think we were able over the years to, first of all, to come up with a lot of publication and to demonstrate to a lot of different parts of the world that we were quite serious about it. So we are working with, I mean, a lot of KM experts who come and teach or even provide some advising services. We have people like Professor Alex Bennett, former Chief Knowledge Officer of the Department of Navy, or Dr. Arthur Shelley that you invited a few weeks back. And so we have a lot of experts who come and contribute to it, both academics and practitioners. We like to have also both type of people to join. And yeah, so it's been doing very well. And as you said, few PhD program left really labeled as knowledge management. You have a lot of business school where potentially you could find an advisor who can help you on KM topic. But in our team, we really have only a knowledge management and innovation management professionals, I mean, experts, I mean, in the field, academics and so on. So we really have a group of people. There is another group, but also at Hong Kong Polytech University with Eric Su and Professor W. Billy. So the Knowledge Management Institute, Hong Kong PolyU. But I mean, there are other small pockets like this of group of people, but still very few academic institute focusing mainly on this topic. So, I mean, again, the combination between KM and innovation, I think, is a good combination.
No, indeed. In fact, I somehow feel there are two faces of the same coin. If you have knowledge management, well, innovation is going to get breed. I mean, that's what I say. It gets so. Now, one question related to your, IKI-SEA. What is overall, Thailand as a nation? How are you supporting knowledge management and in Thailand? And have you worked in any programs? How far they planned? Maybe some good practices in terms of what works has been done for Thailand government.
So yeah, so in Thailand, that's interesting because when I moved in 14 years ago, a lot of people knew about knowledge management, and I was wondering how come it is so popular here where it's not so popular in the US or in Europe or whatever. Well, it's mainly because the Thai government had realized the value of knowledge management, and as part of its quality assurance audit, ask all organizations which were depended from the government, including educational institution, private and public, to have in place some kind of knowledge management initiative. So when they were doing the annual quality assurance audit, there was a section about knowledge management. What does your organization do to manage its knowledge? So which was very, very, very good, and which is still in place. But so I think it helped organization and particularly government organization to rapidly see the value of it. Now, there was no much guidelines on how to do it, so different organizations did it to the best they could. It was not as sometimes as efficient as it could be, but at least they were giving it a try, and it was good. So there has been different group of people in Thailand. There is a KMI, Knowledge Management Institute. So we are now created a network in Thailand where all these KM-related institutes work together, and so we try to help also, further develop knowledge management in Thailand. So that's, more or less the status. One thing also I didn't mention as part of the IKI activity is that we run also the MIKE Award for Thailand, so the Most Innovative Knowledge Enterprise Award since last year. And again, that's one of the activities we do as part of the Institute, which helps also to promote the need of organization if they want to get the award to better manage their intellectual assets and focus also on innovation.
Okay, so I have follow-up questions on this MIKE Award. Now, earlier it was Make Award, and Rose Cherry was actually conceptualized and propagated for quite a long time, and now it was can you speak a bit about from Make to Mike, like what happened, and bit about most people do not know what transpired behind the scenes, and why Make has become Mike, and it's good actually having innovation part of knowledge, and then you're awarding. It's very, very important. So probably a bit of history. Maybe.
Right. Briefly, so the Make Award, Make stands for Most Admired Knowledge Enterprise, was created in 1998 by Rory Chase, and at the time it was a Teleos company, and became quite popular. I mean, it was one of the first awards to recognize organizations that were excelling in their KM initiative. So it had also a framework, maybe also, a bit similar to maybe what the KM standard look like. And it was worldwide, so different countries could have a representative, an organization who will look at, evaluate the Make Award application, and will grant the degree and so on. Now in 2018, so Rory Chase decided to retire, and so he didn't want to any longer to handle this Make Award. And there was a group, like I mentioned early on, at Hong Kong Polytech University, Professor W. Billy, Eric Su, and so on, who were also delivering the Make Award for Hong Kong and China, that said, well, we should probably continue this, but maybe updated it to also some of the current challenges or current competitiveness issues by including the innovation aspect to it. So they renamed the MEC from Most Admired Knowledge Enterprise, Mike Most Innovative Knowledge Enterprise. So Leif Edvinsson, also who is well known in the field of intellectual capital, was also part of this restructuring. And so they changed a little bit the criteria to involve more innovation-related criteria while still keeping the knowledge management thing. So looking at human capital, relational capital, structural capital, but also looking at some innovation capital elements to it.
Okay.
And made it also, in the past, it was really business-oriented, I will say. Well, to be able to deliver the MEC award, you had to pay a license and do all these things. And the team of Hong Kong PolyU said, well, we want to take a different approach. We want to make it also more research-oriented. So potentially this learning from each of these organizations worldwide could be shared among the group of researchers. So currently there are 12 countries, I think, that are offering it. We are offering it for Thailand. Winner of each country compete internationally for the Global Mic Award. And so depending where you are in the world, we can still, I mean, you're still someone who will be able to take in consideration your application.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for sharing that award. In fact, I also didn't know exactly some of the things, you know, because we are all employees, we work in organization, and you know, you're all busy day to day.
And there are so many things happening from different sides. It's difficult to follow up on everything.
True.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, and you also mentioned about I saw very interesting. You perform trainings on OKS certification for World Bank. I want to, before asking, I have to mention the World Bank and ADB Bank. They have some amazing body of knowledge which they've created and which is really available. I really should kudos to the work what they have contributed. I think there's something really amazing for the knowledge management field. So could you please about the training and also the some of the aspects which you are involved?
Sure. So yes, so the World Bank and all these development bank, as you said, ADB and others. Well, the World Bank realized early on. I mean, like I said, when I started my Ph.D. in 1999, the World Bank already had a lot of case study published about knowledge management. So they started mid-90s to realize that, well, the core of their business was not really to lend money to countries, but much more to give solutions to countries. And so they renamed at the time their bank from the World Bank to a knowledge bank. I mean, it was still called the World Bank, but they perceive themselves as a knowledge bank. So what they provide are knowledge and solution to their country, which face some challenges on building road, updating whatever, or promoting this, or reducing poverty, or whatever. So they say that, well, we are here to provide, to help knowledge, I mean, to provide knowledge to these countries so they can better address their challenges. We are here also as a facilitator. So one country can help another country if they have similar challenge, so they can be the interface and so on. So yes, there is a huge body of knowledge around this. And a few years back, there was also a group as part of the World Bank, which was helping. They had a big project that is called South to South knowledge transfer. So South to South, meaning countries in the south part of the world helping and supporting each other on sharing best practices. So there was a group of people led by Stephen Janus at the World Bank, who were looking at how to help some of their clients, so that were ministries or whatever, to capture some of the knowledge that they gain through doing any kind of project. So when they solve a problem in a country, instead of this not capturing the lessons learned, help them to know about how to capture these lessons learned, to be able to more easily transfer it to other countries that will be able to use it. So they have developed all methodology on how to define a knowledge strategy, how to capture knowledge, and how to disseminate knowledge later on. And so all this methodology, so the World Bank is going very, very frequently for restructuring and so on. And so this group, unfortunately, was reallocated to different units and so on. But all the body of knowledge that they have developed and I was trained also as one of the experts to use this methodology, was not lost, but it was hanging and no one was really doing anything about it. So what we proposed to do with the institute, with also Bruno Laporte, a former also World Bank director for the Knowledge Institute, we decided to say, well, let's take advantage of this methodology. Let's make it available to whoever might want to learn about it, and through this certificate. So once a year, what we do, we offer this OKS, stand for Organizational Knowledge Sharing certificates, which is grounded really on some of the approach that the World Bank has been using with their client, okay, which is very practical. So it's not academic per se. And so people interested can learn about this. And so we do it in a face-to-face because there is a lot of it's a workshop, there's a lot of collaboration, a lot of sharing among the members. Okay. And we really get people from all over the world to come and get certified, not on knowledge management, but get certified on this particular approach from the World Bank. So it's not, you don't become a knowledge manager by coming to us. You just learn about a methodology that are shown to work and very practical. So, and again, yes, all the development bank has done a lot of things. And as you said, by going through their website, you see all their strategies, their assessments, the tools, the books, everything is available for free for anyone to download.
Yeah, that's something really amazing, contribution. Yeah. Thanks for sharing again. I want to talk a bit about, again, from your perspective, maybe when finance, I don't want to take finance, but rather I want to talk about, what are the emerging technologies or what are the emerging practices? I mean, you did mention about AI. Of course, I mean, from our past conversation with Dr. Moria, I'm already aware that you and Dr. Moria are the part of core group you developed this program on the AI and machine learning language, which is really very kudos to you. I think that's really brilliant. And now, how do you see? I mean, we are in 2021 now, 2040. How do you envision knowledge management or innovation management? What are the tools and approaches we would be using if we are there in 2040? How do you think the world would be? Me being, So, yeah, it will be a very interesting perspective from you, so.
Okay, great. Yeah. So let me give you my take on this. I mean, as we have all seen, I mean, there are different trends, there are different management concepts coming up and whatever. So currently we talk a lot about digital transformation. And I think digital transformation is one way, again, to look at a problem where knowledge management, again, is very important. So yeah, organizations have to rethink a little bit their business model, rethink their processes, and taking in consideration much more, I mean, these new technologies that helps to automate a lot of the of portion of the jobs or of tasks or business processes that they have to do. So through this restructuration, again, that's a nice opportunity for them to think about, again, what kind of knowledge is core to our business, what kind of knowledge we need to use in order to make these new decisions that might be automated, and so on. So again, knowledge management, you cannot go through a digital transformation journey without a strong knowledge management support. Absolutely. Yes, and again, I mean, to reimagine yourself, again, that's through innovation management. So how do you collect ideas? How do you refine this idea? How do you test these ideas? I mean, everything works hand in hand together to be happening. So currently, I mean, what people talk about is about digital transformation. They don't talk about even much about innovation management or KM. They talk about digital transformation. And that's what a lot of consulting companies are selling, but indirectly, so KM and innovation are behind it. But what we are seeing happening more and more, and you say what will it look like in 2040, I think companies are becoming more intelligent, if you want. So, or they have intelligent system that become much and much more part of their strategic decision system. So companies are more and more able to track or monitor almost in real time what's happening internally in the organization and also in their ecosystem or into their environment, and are able to more rapidly make decisions that are much better informed decisions because they collect information from all kinds of sources, of course, the internet, for the Internet of Things, through, all their devices or sensors they have everywhere. So it becomes, to start with, it becomes a bit overwhelming because they have to access a lot of this information, and without the help of this intelligent machine or artificial intelligence machine, they will not be able to process all of this or make sense all of this. But I think AI will help a lot. And what I see also as a promising technology in the field of KM, even so, you would have asked me this 10 years ago, I would have gave you the same answers and still nothing happened. It's about visualization. I think we are still missing a lot of things in terms of visualization. There is so many things that could be visualized that could help people to make better decisions or better navigate through this huge amount of information or knowledge we have. And currently, we don't see much of this happening. We still, I'm still surprised that Google search are still a listing of websites listed like this, where you navigate through the top 10 and then you give up. So I'm sure there are lots of projects that will be happening into this visualization area, because I think it's a much easier way to navigate through things, to understand things, to make decisions, to test things. And so we talk also about these digital twins, so how organizations are creating a digital version of them and testing a bit, what if we do this in this digital world, what we will look like, and then again looking at the result and serving also as better decision. So I think decision making is going to change completely in the future, which will be much more enabled or influenced by machine. But at the end of the day, I still think that a human being, and fortunately it will remain that way, will make the most important or the most strategic decisions. But yeah, it raises a lot of issues. Can we really trust this machine? How do they make this decision? Is it a black box, or can we really understand how it's happening? Are there any bias? Are there all these things? So there is a lot of ethical issues, so yes, there is a lot to be learned for this to reach this. So I think 2040 is probably a good date to get more maturity into these things. We are really at the early stage of it. Yeah.
True. No, because when we looked at 2000, world we lived in 2000 with the floppy disk, floppy, we had a CD by that time,
Yes. Yes.
And maybe 500 MB or 1 GB was much big, was a huge. And today we are having some 500 GB of hard disk in our mobile, and
yes, terabytes of external hard disk.
Transformation in terms of mobility and computing, and in terms of the whole global networking, what has happened is immense. I think it will be much multiple. It will have a much bigger impact, I guess. But because that has happened, I think that is the only reason why in this pandemic also we are still able to do business. Otherwise, work from home would have never happened, and people would have starved, maybe, or even people would have gone out of job, business, and the whole. It would have been a complete calamity. How do you?
Yeah, right? I think if we had not developed, as you said, all this collaborative tool, and if people have not been, if not everyone had a computer at home also, or if everyone was not quite familiar with such kind of technology, it would have been a big. The impact would have been much more important. And but yes, I think, and it helps to, again, a lot of organizations to move faster towards their digitalization. I will say not their digital transformation, but their digitalization. So making things a little bit less paperless, and also being able to rely a little bit more on online collaboration. But what's interesting to see is what will look like the after pandemic situation. People will go back naturally to work as they did before the pandemic, or there have been really some change of behavior. Hopefully there will be, and maybe and we see technology evolving also very fast. We discover also a lot of collaboration. I think a lot of plugging to Zoom and a lot of competitive platform to better immerse people, interact people, so they don't just feel also isolated, but they feel part of,
Yes.
of really of a group. So that, I mean, that's very positive on this side. That's maybe one of the few positive aspects of the pandemic. But yes, I think things are, again, in this VUCA world, things are moving very fast, and I think we are seeing that every day. And it doesn't mean that it's going, I mean, I think it's helping also people to maybe live a better life, or I mean, if machines are able to take care of all the tasks, automated tasks that we don't like to do, like I was saying, I mean, I love teaching, but I hate grading. And if one day I have a machine that can do the grading for me, I will be the happiest professor in the world, you know. And I think every job has also some aspect to it that people don't particularly like to do. So if machine help us to take care of this and give us more time to do other things, where we can think more, when we can read more, when we can do or spend more time with our families, that's great. So let's do it. And I don't personally think that machine will replace completely the work that we do. It will just automate some of the tasks that can be automated, and that usually might not be very enriching or very fun for people to do. So I think the future might be better for people. We are still, I think, working a bit like robots as human beings. So I think when robots will really take care of the robot task we do, and we can really use our human brain better for better things, and this will be great.
Great, thanks. Thank you, Vincent. I think, it's been so, the time has run so fast. I didn't even realize we have passed 1 hour session.
Well, that's the thing, when you talk to these passionate people, and I think all the people you interview are quite passionate about knowledge management.
True.
They cannot stop talking. So
I can't even the more I listen, I have more questions to ask.
Of course, yes.
And some of the great leaders who were in knowledge management have unfortunately moved out of also came. So people who are really in this field, I mean, at least from my experience, maybe there are a lot of people in the globe, and that's a different thing. But that topic aside, I mean, it was my immense pleasure to speak to you today.
Pleasure was mine, Santosh. Yes, really. I really enjoyed the discussion, and hopefully people who will be watching will have learned a couple of new things today. And again, we are always happy to look for collaboration or help for others. So never hesitate to reach out if you have any question of whatever.
Sure. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you.
Thank you, Santosh.
Have a great day.
Kapun krap. Bye bye.
Namaste. Thank you. Bye bye.
Namaste.